Hey guys, so that was a little crazy. I every time I thought it calmed down, it didn't. That was a wild game. Celta had played a good game. They played well. They responded to changes well, and they, did what they needed to do to get a point away and to make it really difficult for us. I think that's unfortunate for us that game went that way. I think it's a few individual errors that really stands out to me. Starting off with the first half, I think we lost it. I think Celta played a lot better. We were lucky to walk out of there with a 1-0 lead. They were constantly able to make those runs in behind without being offside. That mainly happened, from what I was seeing, is by pinning their strikers and their wingers all the way against the center backs and the fullbacks, and allowing midfield runners to go in between and mess up that flow and make it difficult for us to play that offside high line. It didn't really work out because of that, I think. And going to the second half, we responded to that well, and I think that was one of the biggest changes in improving for the first 25 minutes of the second half. We were able to hold that high line better because we were anticipating that maybe there were some things with Casado there. I don't really know tactically what they did, but they were able to calm down that threat, and that's the important thing. And that's something that helped us get back into this game, score another goal, play incredibly well. Now, we did create a lot of chances in the first half, and we created a bunch in the second half, but it's rather unfortunate that some of these a few players specifically made some really key bad decisions that led to this. I don't think it's a terrible performance from anyone. A lot of these guys were playing well and then made one really bad choice, and that's unfortunate for us, but that's kind of what happens, especially when we're playing such a risky style of play. We kind of need to expect things like this to come about, and like, obviously, this isn't like a fall from grace or something like that. And I think it could feel like that, remembering our history and remembering things we've gone through in the past few years. But that's really not what this is. They play such a risky style of play that these guys are going to make mistakes. Casado, first and foremost, didn't need to pull that guy back. He pulled back one of Elias Moriba's runs, who, an ex-Barcelona player, played pretty well today. I think he had a solid game for Celta. Casado didn't need to pull him back, didn't need to hold his man. Let him make that run in behind and see what happens. But because we had been playing this high line a certain way, and Celta was pushing all of their forward men behind our defense the entire game, it really makes it difficult for him, and it is a tough decision. He was playing well up until that point. Next, Koundé, terrible decision there not decision necessarily, he just didn't have the coordination to get that ball away. Fumbled his first touch and made it very difficult for himself to get it away. Fumbled his second touch, leading to their first goal. Second goal, I'm not really going to blame that on anybody. Maybe Hector Fort could have not dove in there, but realistically, I think it's just a good move from the attacker. It is what it is. Starting off, Iñaki Peña, I think he had a good game. Did end up conceding two goals somehow in the end there, but I think both of them are not really on him, and he made some really good saves. Unfortunately, a lot of the saves were when the guys were offside. That's when it seems to happen for him, but he played a pretty good game. I think he was solid, comes out of his box again well. I'm not upset with him. Gerard Martin was terrible. I really think it was bad. He had really one main good play where he was able to push Iago off the ball and a breakaway there. He recovered with some pace and was able to do that pretty well. And then after that, just idiotic. Got a yellow card and then kept going in on tackles, being very aggressive in a way that he cannot do. And yes, he is a young player from La Masia, but he's 21 years old, 22. I think he's 22, and you can't be doing that. Now that, and I think he will not play nearly as much after seeing how Hector Fort came in and replaced him. Gerard Martin, I'm going to give him a 4, maybe a 3. I think he played very poorly. Inigo Martinez and Cubarsí were better. I think they did struggle a little bit today. I think Celta were making it difficult for them to keep the high line. They were constantly bullying Cubarsí with Borja at the end of the match, and just throwing these guys constantly behind the line, like literally having sometimes Iago, sometimes Borja, sometimes Duvicas behind the line, like 15 yards behind Barca's high line. It makes it so hard to maintain that. And Inigo really took it all into his own hands at the end of that match, trying to keep some sort of sane state at the back. And it didn't really work out that well. I think Inigo was probably a 7, 6.5 to Pau. I think it's a difficult situation. I think they were both good on the ball, but it's just tough overall. And then Koundé, man, he was having such a good game. This first half and this first 70 minutes of this match, he was fantastic. But There was one point where he thought a ball went out and he stopped playing like it went out, and then the game kept going on. They scored. It ended up getting called back. But after that point, he was a little shaken up. And it was only like 30 seconds after that did he fumble the ball, lead to that goal. And I got to give him a 5. I think that was a really bad mistake. It was a coordination mistake, not a tactical or a mental mistake, but it happened, and I have to criticize him for it. Really, really big mistake that led to a lot of momentum in a time where we needed to lock it down. We needed to make them doubt that they could come back, but we didn't. Part of that is because the High Line struggled again, trying to maintain anything or a way to play when we don't have 10 men on the pitch or 11 men on the pitch. And that is something we have seen the team struggle with against Monaco. So moving forward, Hansi Flick, do not play the High Line like you do when we have a red card on the pitch, especially when the game is testy against a team that is performing well. Moving forward, hopefully we can learn that, and we build a way for these guys to sit back and defend with our lives and figure it out. Break away with Rafinha and Firmino once in a while, but for the most part, block it up. They can't do that. They didn't do that today, and that led to the goals. Pedri, I thought, was really good. Yeah, Pedri did his... I'm going to give him an 8. I think he was good. Once he came off, he and Gavi came off, that's when everything changed. Yeah. Yep, that makes sense. But yeah, Casado, man, oh, God, I thought he had such a good game, such a solid game in a difficult match. I got to give him a 5. I think because he played so well, it's a similar story to Koundé. I think I gave him a 5 too. Yeah, terrible decision to pull back Ilaix Moriba. Moriba has been going down super soft this whole match. And it was so unnecessary because Celta had 18 guys offside. And it might have led to a really good opportunity, but let it lead to a good opportunity. I continuously have to say this. It's okay. Let him score. A 2-1 goal deficit or lead is better than 2-0 and what happened when we're down to 10 men. So we need to know that moving forward. Okay, Kalma, good, whatever. Rafinha, I thought it was really good. So upset that chance at the end was touched away from him by Marcos Alonso. That's so unfortunate, man. I wanted him to pound that into the net, and that would have been beautiful. Yeah, I'm going to give him an 8. I think he was good. I think he made runs in behind. I think he made some maybe rush decisions with playing the ball, but he was able to score an early goal and, get us some momentum when we were struggling for Gavi. I think was really solid. So I'm going to give him an 8, same as Pedri. I think he was good at winning the ball back, really good at linking up. I loved seeing him rush and keep that energy up, doing his Gavi thing. Loved to see it. Can't wait to see more of him. So glad he started today, and I think he might start midweek against Brest as well. And Danny, I think, was good. I don't think it was as spectacular from him today. There were a few moments where he almost got in behind on a ball or had some good opportunities. Correct me if I'm wrong. I just don't think he was spectacular. I'm going to give him a 7 just for that reason. Yeah, nothing is really standing out to me that was crazy. Except, no, he did have a good defensive intervention. I'll give him a 7.5 for that because that was pretty big. And on to Lewa. I think Lewa was pretty solid. I'm going to give him an 8 because he did score the goal to bring us up 2-0, which would have been substantial. But calma. I think there were some moments where he could have been a little bit better, a couple chances he could have taken a little bit differently. And the subs, I think Hansi Flick did fine with the decision-making of when to bring on Hector Fort. That was really well done. That's all I was calling for. I was like, Hansi, you got to get this guy off the pitch. He's going to get a red card. And he brought on Hector Fort to help hopefully fix that. I thought Hector came out guns a-blazing. Celta were not ready for it. We're not ready for what he could bring on and what he could do. And immediately we had chances coming because he is faster than Gerard Martin and he's a better dribbler, a better creator. And he had a couple good defensive interventions as well. I'm going to give him a 7. I think he well deserves that, maybe even more. Frankie and Fermin came on at the same time. Fermin was playing very deep, got a yellow card, so did Hector, but I don't think Fermin and Frankie did great. I think Frankie was probably better. I'll give Frankie a 6.5, Fermin a 6. We didn't see enough of them in good positions on the ball that really could have affected it. And then Pablo Torre and Pau Victor came on to try and change it in the 89th. Nothing really changed. I think Pablo Torre was playing so deep, and Pau Victor gave it away once in a very bad position that we couldn't lose the ball in. Yeah, not great. Not even going to rate them. Didn't have enough time. And overall, really disappointed at the way that game went. I think we all are. Yeah, that sucked. I hope the guys aren't injured. I hope they can pick their heads up and turn it up against Brest again. But yeah, overall, whatever. I think we'll be okay moving forward. This isn't a big doomsday thing. It's disappointing, yes, but it's different than a disaster. So, hopefully these guys pick their heads up, and I think they will with Hansi and his mentality. Hopefully we can move forward and go again this midweek. So I'll see you guys then. Stream might be on YouTube. It might be on Big Up. There were some difficulties on Big Up with it. I don't know what was going on, but whatever. We'll see how that goes, and I'll let you guys know. Thank you for watching, and I'll see all you guys in the next one. Peace.